to what the girls were saying?
I can. Recently, interestingly enough, I went to open a garden in Manchester of an early onset unit for the society, and the tragedy was there. So we think it's old people, you know. It happens to us all. Some of the carers were older than the people they were caring for.
Crikey.
You know, there was a young lady there that had to go to another unit. She was 46. She'd left 2 young girls. And it was after her second pregnancy. She had a late pregnancy. And she got Alzheimer's. That was early onset Alzheimer's, and she was 43. Now, and these 2 beautiful girls are running around, you know, just reminded me of the girls then, with no mum and no real memory of her either. So it is something that affects us all. You know, Alzheimer's is evil to us all, let's put it that way.
No, very much so. And you experienced that with your gran.
Absolutely,
and it was really tough for you because she was one of these she reminded me of my own grandmother, formidable.
She was...
But very caring and
Lorraine,
just
she was a massive
stalwart.
Laugh, she was so funny. She was a bit like Betty Driver in a way, that she was... There'd be a whole joke going on and she'd do one line at the end and everybody'd roar laughing, you know, she'd steal your gag. She was just so funny. She used to walk for miles every day. She knew everything about GM buses timetable in her head. You could get to Aberdeen. Do you know what I mean? Oh, she'd tell you how to get there. No, that's 22 minutes back. She was such a laugh, and she baked for the old people, she used to call it.
You're probably younger than her.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And then all of a sudden she started doing very strange things about I'd say about 59, 60 really, when we think about me, my mum. And she deteriorated, and the horror about it was, I mean, the first time I noticed it is when we were walking across the road and she just stood in the middle of the road and the cars were coming and I had to push her away. And I thought, because my gran used to always hold, you know, like northern women do, hold your hands when you cross the road.
Of course, yeah.
And she just stopped in the middle of the road and I thought, this is crazy. Then she started giving my granddad sort of fish and cakes for his dinner, and you know, I mean, sometimes it was funny the early days because she always hated grandstand on a Saturday afternoon, and I remember once she just got up and poured a cup of tea down the back of the telly. And I know we shouldn't laugh, but it was...
No, but do you know what? You should laugh, Sally.
I know, you've got to.
You've got to.
You know, so some of the things she did were hilarious, and then it just got... She was just frustrated and she was crying all the time because it's like somebody going into your head and turning the furniture upside down and turning lights off.
Deleting.
You know, she could remember going to work at the hat factory 30 years ago, but she couldn't remember my name, so she thought I was my mum. And the cushion that was next to me was Sally, you know. So the way it happened was, and towards the end, it was absolutely sick. It was just horrendous. I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. No. Never mind my beautiful gran.
No, exactly. And slowly but surely we are getting there. At least we're talking about it now.
We are. Things have changed in the last 10 years. I mean, I've been an ambassador for 6 years, I think, but I've been working with Alzheimer's since I joined Coronation Street, which is 15 years ago, believe it or not.
Wow.
When I joined. So, and I've been working on since then, and it's changed even in that time.
It has.
So much.
Tell me about these walks, because what a good way to raise funds and raise awareness.
Yeah, so they call them memory walks, and they're sort of another invention by the... Oh, there's us last year. That was the Kent one. Yeah, they do face painting, so the boys were dead happy.
They're getting so big.
Oh, that was last year. There were 4 on Thursday.
Amazing.
I know, it's mad, isn't it? And but it was lovely for the kids because they could do their little walk, and there's... Well, but what it's about, it's just a walk. It's only like round this beautiful ground. That one's at Leeds Castle in Kent. But what it's about is like you're talking with people that know exactly what you're going through. So it's sort of problem shared, really. And there's a few tears. There's lots of laughs. Like, you know, we just said, you know what he did last week. But also, the biggest thing for me, and it's like the Alzheimer's cafes as well, which are a brilliant invention, is that you'll be say you're sat next to a couple. One of them is a ghost of themselves. You know, they're just, the body's there, but the mind's gone. You bring them back alive again because you, as an Alzheimer's, as someone that's been touched by the disease, you ask them questions about who's your husband, what was he like, what did he do, and you sort of, it brings them alive again. It brings their marriage alive again. You see, and so if people are still able to do that with Alzheimer's, they're there as well.
That's good.
And nobody's it's just joining together really, and talking and sharing tips about care as well, because some council might not do this, and some council, it's just getting together. And
it's a brilliant idea.
Yeah, it is a great, honestly,
idea. And it's good for you to be involved, obviously, because you have that personal experience, and work right now is so busy.